all new respect for Takamiya as a character. I mean, he has to have a lot of guts to be able to do what he has did in this episode. For one, there's so much different plot elements that happen, character development with his character, and crazy fighting scenes. I really love this episode. This episode was good, but it had one moment I didn't like. But before I get into that, let's talk about Takamiya. Takamiya, okay, so we get an actual kiss on the cheek like freaking Snow White in this episode, which was unexpected. I didn't expect to see development this quickly in this series, especially with a kissing scene of all that. We get to see how Takamiya also is willing to give up his own freaking eyes to be able to save Ayaka from almost certain death. So, I like that. That is a really nice character. Takamiya has my respect for being a good male character. He's not stuck up. It didn't take him more than a couple seconds to think it over. He downright said to whatever came out of his body, this girl that looks exactly like Ayaka for some reason, pretty much saying she's a demon with the freaking crazy hands, with demon hands, which was badass looking, but pretty much says, I want your eyes and all that. That's a fair trade. And then he pretty much, you know, agreed with it instantly. So I was like, holy crap. So I will say, that was stunning to see how his character was like that, let alone how he had the guts when Ayaka told him to go down this 12th floor, and so he decided to put on his robe and everything, even though he doesn't know any battle magic, decided to go up there to try to help her. But that was the major cause why Ayaka, I'm guessing, got turned to stone, which was actually revealed in the second half of this episode. Now, that is really interesting. So we got a little bit of, I guess, backstory to the characters, or a little bit plot really working into the series. For one, let's actually discuss about that. Okay, so supposedly Takamiya takes this actual piece of candy, the white, or whatever type of crap that's inside of him, and we get to see the white stuff come out. So this white stuff is this girl, Evergreen. I don't know her full name. I'm sorry about that. I probably just butchered her name pretty badly. But I want to say, this girl that came out of Takamiya looks exactly like Ayaka for some reason, and she didn't seem to be very vicious or evil, so I'm guessing I'm not getting vibes from that. She seems like she honestly wants to help Takamiya. She was very mean about it, the way she said she was going to take his eyes, but clearly she was joking and testing him in that scene. So I respect her character, and I will say this though, I'm curious exactly what kind of powers she has. She proved that she's really freaking strong. She took down Medusa, blew up the entire freaking building. That was insane. And that leads into some comedy elements of the episode. Now, the comedy elements of this episode was freaking hilarious. Really well executed story writing with the comedy. Now, for one scene, one of my favorite moments in this actual episode was the entire scene where you see the mother of Ayaka just staring off at her big freaking, I guess, 41st floor, like, hotel, and she stares out like a mine. Oh, I love the sunset with this motel. And then all of a sudden, you see an explosion. You see an explosion just blow up the entire freaking building, and I mean, it is gone. There's nothing there left. I mean, you got a little leaning tower of balance. That's exactly what is left. And I was like, oh, that building, man, that's such a great work of art. Just that was whoa. And then you gotta love the moment when you see the tower, which is just sitting in like a broken down classroom, talking, doing their comedy antics, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, do you see that? There's a volcano coming, we need to go. And all of a sudden, just explosions. I was like, wow, see, these type of comedy elements, that's funny. That's freaking funny. That is comedy gold. And I like this series for this. I really do. Witchcraft Works is definitely in my top 5 of the season because of what it's doing. And, oh yes, the Kazumi, the sister of Takamiya. Wow, she's very daring. I like her personality. Yes, her personality is very cliche for an anime, especially of a harem or love triangle type anime. I've seen this a lot, and usually I tend to hate those characters. But, I will say, I think it kind of works with her character personality along with, I guess, Ayaka, because I know for a fact Takamiya is probably going to give it to Ayaka the way we get to see the kiss on the cheek this episode. So, I like that. I really, really do. So, we get to see some development with romance. We get to see Takamiya have some guts. We see that he's not a coward. We see whatever comes out of him is this mysterious girl with strange powers. And then we get to see Medusa, I'm guessing the main villain, but I'm starting to question if she is the main villain. Let me talk about that real quick. This is one thing I did not like about this episode. One thing I did not like was Medusa. Now, it's not that I dislike her as a character. It's not that. I just don't like the way they chose the actual CGI route of animating her. That was very terrible. That was just really awful CGI. That was bad. I mean, I love the CGI in the opening, I love the CGI in the ending song, and I love the different CGIs they've used in previous episodes. But the CGI of Medusa just looked downright hideous. It really did. I don't know if they were trying to go for that aspect of making it ugly, but that does not work, and hopefully I don't get to see that repulsive type CGI again on Medusa. Now, besides that, everything else is great. I love this episode for what it did, and Medusa getting defeated so easily at the end, it makes me question, is she really the final boss? I mean, okay, so we know the Tower Witches want, they're selfish and they want their own crap, and supposedly they want Takamiya. So, now we see whatever came out of Takamiya, I don't know exactly if it's because he has power, but it's because this girl, whoever's inside of him, is the source of his power. Or it could be a twin sister to Ayaka, I don't know. But one thing I do know for a fact, and they have been hinting at it for a little bit, is that Ayaka and Takamiya know each other from the past. Now, who has actually done this to them? Okay, so clearly they have some form of amnesia. And we also know that Ayaka and Takamiya are linked body and soul. So, exactly what is going on here? How the hell do they not remember? Who's given them, I'm guessing, a case of amnesia? And exactly who linked their body and soul together. See, there's a lot of questions I have about this series. I mean, it has a really in-depth plot if you look really down into the nitty-gritty of it, and they managed to hide that pretty freaking well with the actual, I guess, all-around comedy antics with some awesome fighting scenes. And also, speaking of fighting scenes and stuff, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but did you not notice that Ayaka's actual, I guess, transformation into, I guess, her flame witch looks completely different every time? I mean, she had, like, the marks on her face this episode, which wasn't there, I think, a couple episodes back when she first transformed. So I think something is going on here exactly to be able to have her powers transform like they are. So there's also development going on there. So, all in all, this episode was good. I loved it a lot. I loved the music and that freaking ending song. Oh, man, you know how I feel about the ending song. It's just, the Chibis alone make me love the ending. But when you add that music with bobbing heads and stuff, it's freaking crazy. Well, anyways, everybody, this is going to be the end of my anime review on Witchcraft Works this week. Tell me what you feel about this episode. I know this has been a rather long review, but I wanted to get my point out there what I truly thought about this episode. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please stay safe. Chibi out.